Good morning everyone. Welcome to History and Civics class for class 7. Today we are going to start a new lesson of history. Lesson number 3, the Turkish invasions. Topics to be discussed in the lesson are arrival of Arabs in India, invasion of Turks, Mahmud of Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, first battle of Tarain, second battle of Tarain, and causes of Rajput's failure. Learning outcomes of the lesson. Children will be able to understand about the emergence of Arabs, discuss the invasions of Turks, understand about the different battles fought by Turks rulers. Terms to be discussed in the topic are Turks, people residing in Western, Central and Northern Asia. Ganga Yamuna Dwab, the fertile plains of Ganga and Yamuna. Raise, to destroy completely, slaughter, the killing of a large number of people. The Turkish invasions. Introduction of the topic. The expansion of Islam has been termed as the greatest political revolution ever to take place in the history of the ancient world. With the rise and spread of Islam all over the world, the influence of Arabia increased. Arab travelers, merchant means Vyapari, and traders means businessmen traveled to the different countries, states, and nations not only for the trade but also for the spread of Islam. Islam is the religion of Muslims. It was founded in Arabian Peninsula. Here the word peninsula means area surrounded by water from three sides. In the 7th century AD, Islam is the second largest religion in the world. Thus, by the 8th century AD, the new religion was well spread in the North Africa, the Middle East, Northwestern Asia and the Eastern Europe. The Turks means people of Turkey were totally different from the Arabs means people of Arabia. They were more aggressive. Let's read the introduction from the book now. With the rise and spread of Islam all over the world, the influence of Arabia considerably increased. Merchant means businessman and traders means Vyapari of Arabia traveled the different nations for trade as well as for the spread of Islam. Thus, by the 8th century AD, the new religion, Islam religion, was well spread in Western Asia, North Africa and Eastern Europe. However, the Turks, the people of Turkey, were although different from the Arabs, the people of Arabia. They were more aggressive and full of energy. I have already discussed this paragraph in the beginning as introduction. Let's continue with the next topic. Arrival of the Arabs in India. India had trade relation with Arabia since the time immemorial. The Arabs had established trade settlements on the western coast. Coast means area near the sea or ocean of India. When the Arabs embraced Islam in the 7th century AD, their attitude towards the India underwent significant changes. Along with trade, they now begin to cherish dreams of conquering territories in India and propagate the teachings of Islam. With these ambitions in mind, with these aims in mind, the Arab planned to invade India. They planned to attack on India. India had trade relations with Arabia since the 7th century. The Arabs first started the trade settlements on the western coast of India. Islam was embraced in the Arabian Peninsula in 7th century. Now the attitude of Arab traders had changed significantly. Now, along with the trade, they wanted to fulfill their dreams of conquering territories of India and also wanted to spread Islam in India. The period between the rise of Islam in the 7th century AD and the 10th century AD is regarded as the golden age of trade relations between India and the Arab world. To fulfill their dreams of conquering the territories and spreading of Islam in India, the Arabs planned to attack on India. Let's continue. Northern India at this time was divided into several kingdoms, which were busy fighting amongst themselves for the political supremacy. Thus, in the 8th century AD, India was invaded by Muhammad bin Qasim, a general of Umayyad dynasty. He conquered Sindh in AD 712 and Multan in AD 713. In 7th century, northern India was divided into many small and independent kingdoms. These kings were busy in fighting among themselves for supreme power, position, and political stability. Thus, India was invaded or attacked by Muhammad bin Qasim. Muhammad bin Qasim was the general of Umayyad dynasty. Umayyad dynasty was the first great Muslim dynasty. Muhammad bin Qasim conquered Sindh in AD 712 and Multan in AD 713. The Arabs under Qasim fought fierce battles with the forces of Dahir. Then the rulers of Sindh at Debel, Brahmanabad and Rawar. The Arab forces captured Aror, the capital of Sindh, and looted its treasure, khazana, and valuables. Then they conquered Multan and got so much of wealth from there that they named Multan as the city of gold. These territories remained under the control of Arabs for over 150 years. The Arab forces under the leadership of Muhammad bin Qasim fought extreme battles with the forces of Dahir. Raja Dahir Sen was the last Hindu and last united king of Sindh in present day of Pakistan in the northern region of Indian subcontinent. Subcontinent means an area separated by natural boundaries. Then he captured Debel, Brahmanabad and Rawar. These are the places around Sindh. Arab forces also captured Aror, which was the capital of Sindh, and looted the valuables and treasure of Aror. Then they moved towards Multan. Multan was considered as the city of gold at that time by the Arab forces. Why so? Because they got so much of wealth and gold from Multan. These territories were remained under the control of Arab for 150 years. Let's read further. With the death of Muhammad bin Qasim in AD 716, the Arab failed to retain their political power in Sindh for long. From the 9th century AD onwards, the Arabs were followed by the Turks. After the Muhammad bin Qasim's death, Arabs failed to continue to the power in the Sindh from the 9th century onwards. Arabs were followed by the Turks. Here the Turks mean the people residing in Western, Central and the Northern Asia. And they were totally different from the people of Arabia. They were more aggressive. Let's move further. Invasion of Turks. The Turks invaded India with the aim of conquering new territories, plundering and looting, and the spread of Islam. The Turks who first invaded India belonged to the ruling family of Ghazni. The main reasons of Turks' invasions were: number one, conquering new territories. They wanted to expand their empire in India. Number two, plundering and looting. India was considered as the wealthiest nation of the world at that time. It had enormous wealth, availability of precious stones, and abundant raw materials. Number third, spread of Islam. This was the main reason of invasions of Arabs and Turks in India. Before invasions, Islam was already spread in the part of Saudi Arabia, Western Asia, Northern Africa, and Eastern Europe. Therefore, Turks wanted to spread the teachings of Islam in India as well. The Turks who first invaded India belonged to the ruling family of Ghazni. The Turkish rulers Mahmud of Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori of Ghor invaded the Indian subcontinent during the 11th and the 12th century. Sebuktigin AD 977 till 997 ascended the throne of Ghazni in AD 977. Being a military ruler, he was very ambitious and he laid his eyes on India. Sebuktigin defeated Jaipala, the Hindu Shahi ruler, twice. He captured Peshawar as well. Sebuktigin was the founder of the Ghaznavid dynasty. He belonged to the Turkic family of Kyrgyzstan. He was a very ambitious ruler. He wanted to capture the territories of India. He fought against Jaipala. Jaipala was the ruler of Hindu Shahi dynasty from 964 till 1001 CE. Peshawar was the center of his dynasty. Sebuktigin invaded Jaipala twice and he captured Peshawar as well. Mahmud of Ghazni AD 997 till 1030. Sebuktigin died in AD 997. He was succeeded by his son Mahmud of Ghazni. AD 971 till 1030. Mahmud wanted to make Ghazni the most powerful kingdom of the region. To attain his objective, he set his eyes on the wealthy kingdoms of northern India. He took a vow, pledged to undertake an expedition, means planned journey, against India every year. So, in the span of 26 years, he invaded India 17 times. After the death of Sebuktigin in AD 997, he was succeeded by his son Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud wanted to achieve glory as the greatest conqueror of the world. He had heard about the fabulous wealth of the Indo-Gangetic plains of northern India. Thus, this region was plundered to replenish the wealth of Ghazni. In order to fulfill his objective, he took a pledge to undertake a planned journey or expedition against India every year. So, in the period of 26 years, he invaded, plundered, and looted India 17 times. His empire extended from northwestern Iran to Punjab in the Indian subcontinent. His campaigns were invariably launched in the hot summer months, and on each occasion he would leave India before the onset of the monsoons. He followed this pattern so that his troops would not be trapped in the flooded rivers of Punjab on their return. Let's read and understand his important expedition against India. They were as follows. AD 1001. Mahmud defeated Jaipala, the king of Punjab, and captured Peshawar. He received large tributes from Jaipala. Jaipala burned himself to death out of the humiliation. The Battle of Peshawar was fought on 27 November 1001 between the Ghaznavid army of Mahmud of Ghazni and the Hindu Shahid army of Jaipala near Peshawar. Jaipala was defeated and captured Peshawar. He received large tributes, means payment made by one state or rulers to another, especially as a sign of dependence. As a result of humiliation, means to make someone feel ashamed and foolish, or embarrassment. He burned himself to death to get out of that insult or embarrassment. AD 1008, Mahmud defeated Anandpala, the son of Jaipala, and he conquered territories as far as Nagarkot. Mahmud captured the forts of Nagarkot and Kangra. He plundered and looted the temples also. The Battle of Chach was fought in 1008 AD between Ghaznavid army of Mahmud of Ghazni and the Hindu Shahi dynasty of Anandpala, who was the son of Jaipala, near Mirpur. Ghazni won the battle and Anandpal had to give the territories and its treasures to Ghazni. His victory paved the way for Ghazni's further battles. He also conquered the fort of Nagarkot in Himachal Pradesh and Kangra in Himachal Pradesh. He looted temples also. In AD 1014, he defeated Tirlochanpala, the son of Anandpala, and he captured Nandnah as well. In AD 1014, Mahmud led an expedition to Thaneshwar, where he defeated Tirlochanpala, the son of Anandpala, and captured Nandnah fort, which was built at the strategic location on the Salt Range in Punjab, Pakistan. Between AD 1015 and 1021, Mahmud made two attempts to conquer Kashmir, but he failed. He made two attempts to conquer Kashmir, but twice he failed to conquer Kashmir. In AD 1018, Mahmud turned his eyes toward the Ganga Yamuna Doab, means the fertile plains of Ganga and Yamuna river. In his 12th expedition, he defeated the rulers of Mathura and Kannauj. He destroyed and looted the beautiful temples of Mathura, Vrindavan and Kannauj. In AD 1018, Mahmud turned his eyes towards the fertile plains of Ganga and Yamuna. In his 12th expedition, he attacked and plundered several other cities such as Nagarkot, Kangra, Thaneshwar, Mathura, and Kanauj. Mathura, Vrindavan, and Kanauj were the temple towns, and they were a source of wealth and riches. That's why he destroyed and looted beautiful temples of Mathura, Vrindavan, and Kanauj. Against Somnath AD 1026, Mahmud proceeded towards the famous Hindu temple of Somnath, situated on the south coast of Kathiawar. He was opposed, stopped by the ruler's army, the Brahmins, and worshippers. Mahmud intensely appealed to his soldiers to die for the cause of Islam. Thousands of devotees, means Shraddhalu Bhakt, of Somnath were slaughtered, means killed. Mahmud finally entered the temple and looted it. The temple of Somnath was razed, means destroyed to the ground. In 1025 CE, Mahmud attacked and raided the most popular temples of Somnath near Veraval in Saurashtra, located on the western coast of Gujarat. Somnath temple was one of the richest temples of medieval India. Large offerings made by the pilgrims who visited the temple resulted in the storehouse of wealth. The motive for attacking the Somnath temple was twofold: looting of wealth and beneficial outcome for the trade. Somnath temple was adjacent to Veraval, a commercial active port. Mahmud of Ghazni appealed to his soldiers to die for the cause of Islam. Bhima I, the Chalukyan ruler, could not put much resistance, and temple was plundered, destroyed, and left in ruins. AD 1027, Mahmud's last expedition to India was in AD 1027 to punish the Jats who had troubled him on his way back from Somnath. So he killed all the Jat males and enslaved, means to make someone slave, gulam, their women and children. Let's move further. Estimate of Mahmud. Although an invader, means attacker, and a plunderer, Mahmud of Ghazni was an educated person and had a great leadership quality. He patronized, means give royal support, to literature and art. Also, his court was adorned, means gifted by a number of scholars like Al-Biruni, Utbi, and Ferdowsi. Al-Biruni was the author of Kitab ul Hind, one of the finest works on astronomy, study of stars, mathematics, philosophy, study of ideas and beliefs, and geography, study of earth. Mahmud established a university, a library, a museum at Ghazni. He was famous for his just and responsible nature. Mahmud was a successful general and a conqueror who never suffered defeat. He was an educated person and had a great leadership qualities. He was also a great patron of art, architecture, and literature. His capital Ghazni was adorned with many beautiful buildings which include mosques, libraries, and museum. He established a university in Ghazni. His court was gifted by a number of scholars like Al-Biruni, Utbi, and Firdausi. Al-Biruni was the author of Kitab ul Hind, is the one of the finest work on astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, and geography. He was famous for his responsible nature. Do you know? Firdausi, the author of Shahnama, has been described as the immortal Homer of the East. Mahmud died in AD 1030. Despite his qualities, he failed to establish a stable empire. Under his successors, the Ghaznavid Empire shrank rapidly. The superstructure of his empire fell like autumn leaves. Autumn means Patchar. In the history of India, Mahmud is remembered as fanatic Muslim, means Kattar Musalman, a plunderer, lutera, and destroyer of fine arts. He earned the title of idol breaker. Idol means murtiyan, and breaker means todne wala. His empire fell down in the hands of his successor because his successors were not competent. Mahmud's conquest did not produce any significant result. In the history, he was remembered as idol breaker because he had attacked and destroyed many temples and also destroyed some of the specimen of fine arts of the temples. He also remembered as a fanatic Muslim, a plunderer, destroyer and of fine arts. This is the end of today's topic. I hope you understood the topic. You are able to solve some exercises. Don't forget to learn the terms. I'll come with the next video. Thank you and have a nice day.